Hello and welcome to a new episode of InnovX BCR Talks powered by Microsoft. Today we have Robert Pufan. Robert is a technical architect at Microsoft and dealing with the new platform Microsoft Teams that we actually use at our conferences and in our InnovX Accelerator program. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here with you.
We are happy, very happy to have you here in Mindspace Business District in this wonderful environment. So, Robert, tell me a little bit about Microsoft Teams. Everybody is now thinking about it only as a tool for communication. So, what is Teams and why should a company, especially as startups, because we are talking about startups, use it or care about this new tool?
Well, it's easier for me to answer to this question now, considering all the things we had to face. Personally, I'm so happy I'm here because I'm not working from my home office this evening, so which is great. But why a company should care is that it's not just a tool. It's a platform. We call it the hub for teamwork, because it can integrate several business processes that you use inside the company and also from outside the company.
Okay.
Okay. So this is exactly what Teams is. It's a hub. It's not just a tool or just another app. It's a full hub that can integrate with Microsoft tools, but also with third-party applications or tools or services from other producers or vendors.
Mm-hmm. And how is different Microsoft Teams than the other applications and tools that you have now on the market for video conferencing and so on?
Mm-hmm. I hear a lot, or I've heard a lot in the past months. This question, it's what's different between a video conference app and the other? Well, Teams is not just another video conferencing app. It can do video conferencing, that's true, but it can do so much more than that. So if you ask me, the video conferencing part of Teams is like less than 10% of what Teams can do.
Okay.
So Teams is, you can do video calling, of course, but you can do chats, you can do cloud storage, you can do cloud sharing, you can do project management, you can do planning, you can do so much more than just video calling. Video calling is just, let's say, the end part. Yeah, you go to a meeting or you prepare for a meeting, you meet online, okay, you can do that in Teams, but where do you do all the work before the meeting?
Yeah.
Where do you do your planning? Well, this is where Teams, this is the actual value of Teams, because it can help you prepare for that meeting, so you can go online in that live meeting, but you have all your stuff, so you can work together with your colleagues on a presentation or on a document or whatever. You can do a planning with your colleagues or with other partners that you have in your business and so on.
So beyond video conferencing, I can share documents on Teams with the other colleagues in the organizations, or?
Well, yeah, exactly. We call it the future of at Microsoft. We call it modern workplace.
Oh, okay.
And the modern workplace means that, okay, I don't know, cloud was invented somewhere in the 60s. Everybody is using email now.
Yeah.
Well, the future, after email, we started to share documents, as you were asking me, yeah? And we started to share documents via email. Now people are starting to share documents via cloud storage solutions, OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, and so on. Imagine that Teams puts all of this together. You can share documents, but also because it's with the power of Office integrated into Teams, you can co-author documents. So it's not just sharing documents between you and me, but we can work together on the same document at the same time with the whole team. Yeah, so this is the power. So we can really work together like we were in the same room. But everybody can work from home or from or remotely.
Also a project management tool. You can edit, as you said, the entire team can enter and edit the same documents and
exactly.
So on, and you have everything. So basically, it's a remote workplace that everybody can use it.
You
now.
can use it for remote. but we started to use it. Teams is quite new. It has 3 years since its launch, a little bit more than 3 years, and it's one of the fastest growing apps that Microsoft ever had. So the adoption of Teams, it's incredible, even before the last months. So no, and it's a very alive product.
Yeah.
It gets features more and more day by day, month by month, and so on.
So it's improving day by day with new features and
Exactly.
everything, which is really interesting. How did the last months work for Teams? How
Wow,
did it develop?
the last months were actually, we were very busy. We were very busy. Indeed, it was a good test for the platform overall, and we are happy to see that we passed it, as we like to say, because, well, globally we have a lot of the increase in usage is immense. So now we have like 75 million active users. So we don't count how many users did created an account on Teams. No, we count only the users that are actually using the app daily. So we have more than 75 millions globally, and business-wise, more than 90% of Fortune 100 companies, so specifically 93 companies of those 100, are already using Teams for the whole organization. But Teams it's quite nice because it can be used at an enterprise level, but it can also be used from a startup level. So you have the same management of tools and compliance and security that any enterprise is using or must use due to its size. You can have all of that pretty easily as a startup as well. So this is the good stuff.
It comes with all the security associated with the Microsoft product.
Yes.
So you don't have bombers on the on the video conferences.
No, Microsoft is fully committed to security and compliance. We have a belief inside the company. We say that Microsoft runs on trust. Everything that inside that is related to Teams is related to the cloud services of Microsoft. So Teams is actually a hub, like I've told you, that brings together the security of Microsoft Cloud, the security of OneDrive, SharePoint, and so on. Exchange Online, of course, and a lot of top professional services that you can have inside one thing, and that thing is Teams.
No, it's funny because our kids were using the other platforms for the remote education, and they told me that they had some bombers entering into the classroom from other countries, and they said it was quite.
I have a nice example because when everything started, I can give you. I would like to stick it to Romania. I know we are talking in English, but regarding Romania, the first area that we tried to help, where to react, it was actually the education space, because schools, as we all know, schools had to switch to digital overnight.
Yeah.
And how you can do that? Because it's not just okay, let's install a video calling app and we are doing schools. No, because the whole teacher infrastructure, you know, the teacher's room, Cancelaria, it had to be moved digitally as well. So okay, where did those teachers prepare their materials for the children? Where did those teachers work together with their colleagues on what and how to work together with the children? So you can do that in Teams. So it's the part that's before the virtual meeting that's quite important.
Are there many schools that adopted Microsoft Teams in Romania?
We were the first to create, because Microsoft for education and also for startups has some special programs, which we will get into, I hope. For schools, Microsoft, for the education workspace, Microsoft is offering a special, let's say, it's not a deal, because Microsoft did not have Corona offers. Okay, so we had for schools we had some special, let's say, projects before 4 years now. Okay, and we offered the whole platform for schools. If you ask me, we started with a webinar for teachers, and we were the first to do that. and we had an amazing number. We had almost 8,000 teachers joining live that webinar.
8,000.
Yeah, that webinar now is used by the Minister of Education in order to supply schools and high schools and universities inside the country on how they can deploy a fully digital infrastructure inside their schools, which is basically the same infrastructure that any other company is using and it's adopting when they are adopting Microsoft 365.
Yeah.
But of course, it's niche to education. Now, I cannot give you the exact numbers. What I can tell you is that the numbers rose in percentage with a number that has 4 digits.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's a lot.
Yes, that's even more than we expected, because the platform did well. The platform stayed stable, and we responded very fast to the needs that teachers, for example, had. Teams at the beginning of the period, it had like, for example, only 4. It had 4 persons that you can see at the same time, because Teams was created as a business tool in order for you to focus on the last 4 speakers in a meeting. Of course, in education, the teacher in the education space, the teacher needs to see more. Yeah. So now we upgraded it to 9 speakers, and pretty soon we will upgrade the web metrics even further.
Yeah, that's true, because we also use it now I should make the transition between education and the startup world, because we are an education program in the startup world. We also use Teams, and we successfully had our entire 100% virtually bootcamp in the last 3 weeks exclusively on Teams, and it worked very nice, and we've seen all this progress, and each day new features appeared. Because we are talking about startups, why should be a startup interested in Microsoft Teams? What's in it for them?
It's not just Microsoft Teams, it's about what Microsoft is offering to startups as a whole area. The starting point for a startup, it's easy, it's startups.microsoft.com. And I can give you just one example. If you are a startup and you get into, and if you access this website, this page, you can get access, I don't know, for example, for your startup for 10 full Office 365 licenses, for example. So you are up and running with top of the top technology on security and teamwork, and you can use it directly, and we don't have restrictions. I don't know, because I've heard a lot of that. There are no restrictions like, okay, you can only do a meeting with 10 persons, or you can only do a meeting for 45 minutes. No, you get the full license, and you can use it properly for your business, because that's the most important as a startup. Yeah. So there are programs, startups.microsoft.com.
Okay. Yeah, actually also we have a lot of experts from Microsoft. Also you came in the InnovX programs and mentors the startups, and also introduced them to the startup program, which actually it's quite impressive.
Talking about startups, okay, Microsoft, there are 2 discussions now, because you have the discussion where Microsoft is offering, okay, there are special offerings and special deals or special products for startups, but what's in it for the startup? The secondary discussion is that, okay, can we use Teams to raise our selling? Can we use Teams to create pipeline of sales? Can we use Teams to do something like that? And indeed, for example, if we refer it to Teams, there is a Teams app catalog where the apps are created by third parties, by startups, most of them. By, okay, we have big names there like Adobe, like Zoom. Yeah. Zoom is in Teams as well. Okay. I don't know, SurveyMonkey. So you can use all your tools or all the other apps that you already have inside your company, or you are planning to have inside your company, but you can use it from Teams. Yeah, so you can have one space, one hub. I'm going back to the hub now. One hub where you can access all the information that you need, and your users are not distracted, because you don't have to open, I don't know, a million windows, a million tabs. Okay, I have one app for CRM, I have one app for ERP, I have one app for communication, I have another app for video calling, I have another app for whatever. No, you can do all of that inside of Teams in a secured environment. So this is the advantage and the opportunity. If you're a developer, you can be there.
Okay, this is actually is quite interesting. You told me as a user how you can use and integrate the other tools and administrate them through one platform, which actually makes sense, and I think you save a lot of time, and I don't know about money, you will tell me that. But as a developer, how easy is to develop an app and enter in the Microsoft Teams marketplace? Or
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah, we call it, we have a marketplace. In Teams it's called the Teams App Catalog. Any developer can get started. Just search for Azure Marketplace or Teams App Catalog, and you can find out. To answer it easy, we have full documentation on how you can start. You don't have to rewrite your app from zero. Okay, so if you have a web app, okay, integration can be done immediately inside of Teams, because you have different tabs, and you can add your application as a tab inside Teams. Or you can create an app which can stay inside the catalog, and the catalog can stay, the app can stay in the catalog privately only for you as a user, or privately only for you as a company, or you can make it public and you can access those 75 million users.
Okay. And in order to enter this marketplace, it is a different path than the ones through the Microsoft for Startup program?
You can use Microsoft for Startup program, because inside that program you have access to many tools, including Visual Studio, if I'm correct, where you can develop your app, and then you can shift it to the app catalog. So what you get from Microsoft as the infrastructure for a startup can help you, or you can leverage that to create or to push the app inside this marketplace, which creates a new sales channel for your company. Because imagine what's happening now. A lot of startups are creating great solutions,
yeah,
but it's difficult to sell them. It's difficult to go to market, okay? Or they create a website, they go and pitch the idea and the app in several places, which is great. However, the vast majority of users need to be where the customers are. We always hear that. Well, the customers, or a lot of them, are already in Teams. Why not put your app inside the marketplace of Teams? And you know for sure that the app will be available for all of them. Okay? And when you create a contract with a company that already uses Teams, you can tell them that your app is already there.
But is there a market for Teams now, and especially for Romania? I mean, okay, maybe we'll reach a lot of developers interested to go on Teams. Is there now? How old is this market? How it works right now?
It's evolving. It's evolving. We had a lot of examples in the last period of time, in the last months. We see that adoption and this whole change management in using digital schools, digital tools, modern tools, and remote working and so on. It's been a struggle for most of the companies inside the country. However, there is a market. For sure, there is a market. I can tell you some examples. I won't give names, but some Romanians, I know company, this is the first one that comes to my mind, which has a Teams app, and their customer is the biggest antivirus company in Romania. You know who I'm talking about, but they are selling their solution, and their solution is covering how to remotely manage the meeting rooms. Okay, and you can do that directly integrated inside of Teams, and when you book a room, you have all the management done by them, which is integrated already inside of Teams. And one of their customers is big, yeah, and they are selling across the world now because their customers are not only in Romania. So think global, because Microsoft has Teams in a lot of countries. Yeah, it's worldwide. So if your application is published, of course, you need to pass some steps, but everything is documented. If you pass those steps and your app is published, you basically access a full world of potential customers that then you can approach. If the app, we have some programs, I won't get into details, but search about, we call it co-sell programs for Microsoft partners. If they publish the app, they can get to a point where Microsoft sellers are incentivized by for selling that specific app. Okay, so if the app is good, and we call it IP co-sell, intellectual property co-selling, your intellectual property, your solution can be pushed to the whole market by Microsoft.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's an opportunity.
A lot of development for Microsoft Teams in the last months. What will happen next? What are the next steps for the development of Microsoft Teams? If you can give us some ideas.
We always want to know what's next. Well, the good thing is that Microsoft, it's quite different from, I don't know, 10 years ago. Yeah, if 10 years ago you said we will have Office on Mac or on iOS or on Android, people would say you are nuts. Now it's a fact. If you open any macOS device, any MacBook, and you go to the app catalog, to the app store, and you search for top downloaded apps, you'll find Microsoft Office there.
Okay.
So now it's a fact. This thing started basically with Windows 10. Windows 10 was created together with the future users. We have a program, it's called Microsoft Insiders. And anybody can be an insider, and they can provide feedback to Microsoft with the features they want to see in the future release of Windows. Yeah, if I don't know, people are and then you vote, and people are voting for we want semi-transparent start bar. Two more interesting or more complicated things. The good thing is that Microsoft is doing the same for Teams as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there is Microsoft 365 roadmap, which is public features roadmap. So you can see all the features that Microsoft is working on now, which are in development, which are released, or will be released soon. So you have, or which are already deployed. So we have the roadmap, which is public. Microsoft 365 roadmap. Just search for that. Now, specifically for Teams, we have user voice, and people are voting for ideas.
Okay.
And of course, we knew that increasing the number of video streams in the webcam matrix was top voted, and that was the feature that we worked on to have it securely and tested and released the fastest. And there are a lot of ideas there which will get implemented soon in Teams. I can give you something from the house. We are working, virtual background.
Yes.
You can put a virtual background. Okay, we are working now on virtual background noise reduction. Okay, so if someone is doing like that when talking with you, the AI will suppress that sound. Okay, we are working on that. Yeah, because, or I don't know, if someone has a bad neighbor in the morning with okay.
We had that today to another talk.
Yeah, so there are really interesting things that we are working on. However, some will say, yeah, but that other solution has this. Okay, but it's about, like I said, we run on trust. For us, security is first. Yeah. And I think anybody on Microsoft from Microsoft will agree with me that we keep on security top of mind, and everything else comes after, including new features. So that's why we had, from my knowledge, we had no issues on that aspect, and I don't know what to say about the others. So, which is very important, because the data that your employee Okay, maybe now in a startup, the employee is your friend, but it can become a business partner, not a friend anymore. It can become an employee, or it can become a competitor at some point. The data your colleague is using, or he's accessing from a device.
Yeah.
We see now this thing called bring your own device. So you can now put your work email on your personal phone. So if you are a business owner and you have a bad employee, I hope not, but sometimes it happens. Yeah, okay, you fire him, but you can't take his phone because the phone is his property.
Yeah.
But your emails are there. So how do you handle that? Well, the solution is just use Microsoft 365 because you have all the security solutions there via Intune and so on. And the data that is company property, including the emails and the chats and everything, including the data from Teams and the documents, you can even wipe them out. So the company has full control on its data, regardless the device the data is accessed from. And you can always see who's accessing your data, from which device, from what location, and so on.
Yes.
So think about this because even now in Romania, people are getting the laptop from work. This is the work laptop. But people are not using just the work laptop. They have a desktop at home, they have a tablet, they have a phone, and those need to be managed somehow. So this is why you need to have the proper cloud security environment, which a professional solution like Microsoft 365 can offer all around, not just let's use a tool for video calling, because we all know it's more than that.
Yeah, so basically you enhance business and collaboration through all devices, but keeping security, which is one of
Top
the
of
main
mind.
values of Microsoft. And yes, I've seen more and more corporations that opted for the Microsoft Teams, and I understand why. Yeah, thank you very much. We are coming close to the end. What can you tell me for in final, the end of the show?
Just for startups, just access startups.microsoft.com. If you have a solution, if you have an idea, try to deploy it in Teams. See how it works. Test it out. If if you use I don't know, Visual Studio, if you use I don't know, Node.js, whatever program, if you use I don't know, just plain web applications, no problem. You can integrate them into Teams. Get in touch with us. You will have the details of my colleague and my friend Sergio, who is taking care of the startups on behalf of Microsoft, or get in touch with me on my LinkedIn. Test and deploy. First, use Teams inside the organization, see the value of it. If you see the value, continue to use it. But taking into consideration as a startup that Microsoft can offer you a full new channel of possible sales using the Teams app catalog and the Azure Marketplace, of course, if you want to create cloud applications,
No.
which is a professional place where you can find different solutions.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so who's interested, any startup interested in Microsoft Teams, you will have on the comments published a link to your LinkedIn profile, Robert Pufan, and also from Sergiu Pop, from Microsoft for Startups program. And feel free to contact them, and let's do some great things together. So thank you very much, Robert, for being here in our event. I look forward for the InnovX BCR Open Day powered by Microsoft on the 18th of June. That actually will be live on Microsoft Teams, so it will be an entire day on the platform. And we look forward to have you there and see new features and interesting things about Microsoft and about the startups that enter the Microsoft for Startup programs. Okay, so till the next event, stay safe and innovate. This is what we say here at InnovX. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.